Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're exploring something truly fascinating: the human voice. I mean, it's easily the most powerful tool we all have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It can start wars, it can unite people, it can whisper, I love you. Its power is just immense.
Undeniable.
But here's the thing that gets me, the paradox, really. If it's so powerful, why do so many of us find that, well, sometimes people just don't listen when we speak?
That's exactly what we're getting into today. That's the mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack why our words sometimes, just seem to vanish into thin air.
Okay.
We'll look at the common habits, the things we do, maybe without even realizing, that push listeners away. But crucially, we'll also explore the principles that really draw people in.
Good.
And yeah, we'll give you some practical tools too.
Yeah.
Things you can use to make your voice genuinely impactful, enough to actually shape your interactions, maybe even change your world a bit.
Right, let's unpack that. It sounds like the starting point is looking at ourselves, maybe some habits we don't even notice. You mentioned these speaking sins, things that just block real communication.
Exactly. Think of them like communication traps. I've kind of grouped them into what I call the 7 deadly sins of speaking. Not the only ones, of course, but they're big ones we all tend to fall into.
Okay, what's the first one?
First up, gossip. Talking negatively about someone who isn't there.
Yes, common.
Very. And the sneaky thing is, it's not really about the person being discussed. It's about you. The listener hears you gossiping, and consciously or not, they think, okay, if they talk about them like that.
What do they say about me when I'm not around?
Precisely. It instantly erodes trust. Their mind isn't really on what you're saying anymore. It's busy wondering about your character. Hard to listen then.
Makes sense. What's next?
Second is judging. When you feel like someone is constantly evaluating everything you say or do.
Oh, that's uncomfortable.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to be open and truly listen when you feel like you're under scrutiny. Your
Yeah.
brain just switches to self-defense mode.
Right, you shut down.
Then there's negativity. This one can be subtle. I remember my own mother, bless her, as she got older. I wish she could find the downside in almost anything.
Well,
I once said, oh, look, it's October 1st. And her immediate reply was, I know, isn't it awful?
oh, wow.
Yeah. And that kind of constant pessimism, it just drains the energy out of a conversation.
Yeah.
Our brains are sort of wired to avoid things that feel bad, so we just naturally disengage.
Yeah, you pull back.
And related to that is complaint and grumbling. It's almost a national pastime in some places, right?
Yeah.
Complaining about the weather, politics, the train.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
We all do it.
Yeah.
But it just spreads misery, doesn't spread any light. And who really wants to sit and absorb that constantly? It creates this low-energy vibe that repels listening.
Okay, that's 4. What's number 5?
Excuses, always blaming someone else, never taking responsibility, passing the buck.
Ah, the blame game.
Exactly. If someone constantly avoids accountability, you stop listening to their actual message. You start listening for the excuse, for who they're going to blame next.
Right, you anticipate it.
Number 6 is exaggeration. Making everything bigger than it is. This is a total catastrophe when it's just a minor inconvenience.
Or the most amazing thing ever, for something pretty standard.
Yes. It just devalues your words. What do you say when something really big happens? Plus, it slides very quickly into sounding dishonest. Once someone thinks you're stretching the truth, boom, trust is gone.
That's a slippery slope. And the last one?
Dogmatism. This is confusing your opinions with facts.
Ooh, that can be frustrating.
Terribly. It feels like being bombarded, right? Someone just hammering you with their views as if they're absolute truths. It doesn't feel like a conversation. It feels like an attack. It makes it almost impossible to engage, let alone listen.
Wow. Okay, those 7. Gossip, judging, negativity, complaining, excuses, exaggeration, dogmatism. They really do build walls, don't they?
They absolutely do. Barriers instead of bridges.
So if those are the things pushing people away, what's the flip side? What draws people in? How do we build that trust?
Great question. And that brings us to what I think of as the positive foundation. 4 key principles. I use the acronym HAIL.
Hail. Like the weather.
Hey, no, not the icy stuff. The other meaning, to welcome or greet with enthusiasm. That's how we want our words to land, right? Welcomed.
Okay, hail. What does it stand for?
So H is for honesty. Simple but fundamental. Speaking the truth, being clear, straightforward, no hidden agendas. When you're honest, people don't have to waste energy trying to figure you out. They can just listen.
Straightforward. Makes sense. A?
A is for authenticity. Just being yourself. being real. A friend described it as standing in your own truth, which I love.
That's a nice phrase.
Isn't it? When you're authentic, people sense that alignment between who you are inside and what you project. It builds connection because you seem genuine, not like you're putting on an act.
People resonate with realness. Okay.
I is for integrity. This is about doing what you say you'll do, being reliable. Your word means something.
Walking the talk.
Exactly. When you have integrity, people trust your words, not just now, but for the future. They know you'll follow through. That makes them much more willing to actually invest their attention in what you're saying.
Builds credibility over time.
Right.
And L.
L is for love. No, hold on. I don't mean romantic love here.
Okay, good clarification.
I mean genuinely wishing people well, having their best interests at heart.
How does that play into speaking?
Well, two big ways. First, sometimes raw honesty without goodwill can be hurtful, right? Telling someone, wow, you look awful today, might be true.
But probably not helpful.
Exactly. But if you genuinely wish them well, that truth might come out differently, maybe with concern or empathy, not judgment. Love tempers honesty.
Okay. And the second reason?
This is profound, I think. If you are truly, genuinely wishing someone well, it's almost impossible to be judging them at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Try it. The two mindsets, judgment and well-wishing, they just don't really coexist. So approaching communication with that sense of love, of goodwill, it automatically removes the barrier of judgment for both you and the listener.
Hail. Honesty, authenticity, integrity, and love. That feels like a really solid foundation. It's clear how focusing on those could really change how your message is received.
It absolutely transforms it. Creates trust, makes people receptive.
But it's not just what we say based on hail, is it? You mentioned earlier the how, the actual sound of our voice, the vocal toolbox, you called it.
Precisely. We have this incredible instrument, our voice, with all these amazing settings and tools, but most of us, well, we barely explore them.
So what's in this toolbox?
Okay, let's pull a few things out. First, register. That's basically the pitch of your voice.
High or low?
Yeah. Speaking really high all the time might not always serve you well.
Mm.
A lot of people speak from their throat, which gives a thinner sound.
Mm.
But if you speak from your chest, using your diaphragm, you get that lower, more resonant pitch. Hear the difference.
Definitely. Deeper.
It feels more grounded. And interestingly, research shows we tend to associate lower voices with power and authority. We even vote for politicians with lower voices more often.
Wow, really subconscious bias.
Seems so. Next tool, timbre. This is the quality, the texture, the feel of your voice. Is it rich, smooth, warm, raspy?
Can you change that? I thought that was just how your voice is.
Some is natural, sure, but you could definitely improve it. Simple things like relaxing your jaw, good posture, proper breathing. They all help create a richer, warmer tone. Try just letting out a gentle sigh before you speak. It releases tension.
Interesting. Okay, what else?
Prosody. I love this one. It's the musicality of speech. The melody, the rhythm, the sing-song quality that conveys meaning and emotion.
Like not being monotone.
Exactly. Listening to someone speak on just one note is incredibly hard work.
Yeah.
It's literally where monotonous comes from one tone.
Yeah, puts you to sleep.
And related to this is avoiding upspeak. You know, when every sentence ends with a rising inflection, like it's a question.
Oh, yeah. That thing.
That thing. It really limits your vocal range and makes you sound uncertain, even when you're stating a fact. We should try to break that habit.
Good point. More tools.
Yep. Pace. How fast or slow you speak. Speeding up can show excitement. Slowing down emphasizes a point. Varying your pace keeps things interesting.
Keeps the listener engaged.
Definitely. And then there's silence.
Ah, the power of the pause.
Immense power. Don't feel you have to fill every single gap with, a well-placed silence can add weight, give listeners time to think, draw them in. It's a tool in itself.
Need to get more comfortable with that one.
We all do. Then there's intonation. Similar to pitch, but it's about how the pitch changes within words or phrases to change the meaning.
Like, where are my keys versus where are my keys?
Perfect example. Same words, different emphasis, totally different question being asked. Masterful speakers do this naturally.
And finally?
Volume. Obvious? Maybe. But using loudness for excitement or softness to draw people closer. Speaking really quietly can make people lean in and focus intensely.
Creates intimacy.
It does. Just be mindful not to broadcast all the time, being unnecessarily loud in a space where it's not needed. It can feel a bit inconsiderate.
Right. Wow. Okay. Register, timbre, prosody, pace, silence, intonation, volume. That's a lot more control than I think most of us realize we have.
It really is.
And these tools, they become really crucial when you have something important to say, right? Like, You're giving a big speech, or maybe even proposing marriage, asking for a promotion, giving a wedding toast.
Exactly. High-stakes moments.
Mm-hmm.
You want your instrument to be ready,
Yeah.
and just like you'd warm up an engine, you really should warm up your voice.
Okay, so how do we do that? Is it complicated?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Super simple. I have 6 quick exercises I do before any big talk. You can do them anywhere. It takes maybe a minute.
Let's hear them.
Okay. First, stand up if you can. Helps open the diaphragm.
Yeah.
Arms up. Take a really deep breath in. Feel your belly expand.
Okay.
Then exhale slowly with a big, loud, bah, like this. Really let it come from deep down.
Feels good, actually.
It does. Releases tension. Let's do one more. Deep breath. Good. Second, lips. Quick, ba 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 ba. Nice and crisp.
Ba, ba, ba.
And then the lip trill, like a kid making car noises. Brrr.
Yeah.
Get them vibrating.
Brr.
Okay. Third, tongue. Exaggerate this one. La 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 la. Really flick your tongue up behind your teeth.
La, la, la. Got it.
Fourth, the tongue roll.
Mm-hmm.
Brrr. Like rolling your R's, like champagne for the tongue.
Brr. Mine's not great.
Practice helps. Fifth, the siren. Start high, slide down low. Wee you woo, like this. Wee you.
Ooh, that's fun.
It stretches your vocal range. One more. Wee you. Excellent. That's it. 6 quick steps.
Those are great. Really simple, and you can actually feel a difference almost immediately. I'd encourage everyone listening, try these before your next important chat or presentation. It might surprise you.
It really can make a difference to your clarity, your resonance, even just your confidence.
So thinking bigger picture then. We often talk ineffectively to people who aren't really listening, often in noisy places.
Exactly. It's kind of a mess sometimes. But imagine a world where we all learn to speak powerfully, consciously, where we listened with real intention, where we even designed our spaces, our environments, to support better communication.
A world where voices actually sound, well, beautiful, not just pretty, but clear and impactful, where understanding each other is more common. That's a powerful idea.
It really is. It goes way beyond just sounding nice. It's about deeper connection, clearer understanding, making sure the important stuff actually lands. It's an idea worth spreading, I think.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, maybe a final thought for you, the listener. How will you use some of this? What's one thing you can do in your next conversation, maybe even today, to make your voice more effective? Or perhaps to listen just a little bit better?
Something to chew on.
Definitely. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the power of the human voice. We'll catch you next time.